Hey there guys, Unreal X Inferno here, new microphone as you may have noticed, but I've got a interesting video for you here about a wildcard game. Like I said, I will start covering other sort of similar survival-ish games, and this is going to be the first wildcard of the channel, well the first proper one at least. And the game, obviously, as you can see on the screen, is Life is Feudal, the MMO. Now you might be thinking, Inferno, I come here for survival games, not MMOs, you piece of shit. Now, hear me out here. This game is pretty awesome. If you're into sort of survival or immersive, roleplay capable gameplay, I guess, then this game may just be the thing you've been looking for. If you've played the previous game, you'll know all about this game, but if you haven't, imagine if you've played anything similar to Reign of Kings, or if you've played, let me think, I'm trying to think of any other sort of medieval survival games. I guess Conan Exiles might count, but pretty much anything medievalish, and you thought, hey, you know what, it would be great if I had all of these NPCs around me were players. Well, that's pretty much what this game has gone and done. They've taken the 64 player experience of most survival games and taken it and turned it on its head and given it 10,000 or more across a realm, which will be completely persistent with no wipes apparently. That's the plan, as you can see on the screen. I will be playing the trailer shortly, but it's going to be an interesting game to play, and it comes out extremely soon. It may be out when this video drops. They intended to release it a few days ago, I believe, but there's been some delays and problems, as usually happens with early access. But I've watched some gameplay of this game, and I can tell you it looks like it plays like an MMO rather than games you may be used to. But if you've played MMOs before, you'll understand the sort of grindy nature of them. But this game has what a lot of others don't, and it is a strong RP potential. I mean, I can't think of many other MMOs that have a very, very strong RP community. I mean, some of you might be like, oh, World of Warcraft has a RP community. Like, yeah, but no one cares about that, let's be totally honest here. So this game intends to be a strong sort of semi or maybe even serious RP sort of experience for players. It's obviously a role-playing game, so you know, that's kind of the idea, but you basically will start off as what I assume to be some sort of peasant with your own sort of ability to stake a claim somewhere eventually, but you'll start out on like a tutorial island and then head out into the sort of wilderness, as it will, and you just kind of go out and do your own thing. But obviously during that time you will encounter other players, other guilds, villages and such, all which have the potential for you to join them and so on. So maybe you encounter a group of bandits and they're like, tell you what, join us and we won't come and steal your children, and you're like, well, you know what, I want to keep my children, so I'll do that. And you go and join this group of bandits, but now, because of their, I believe they have a crime system, or like an honour system, if you are a filthy criminal, players, well, other members of the sort of land will be more incentivized to come and hunt you down, so you're obviously going to have to live a life on the run, hiding up in the mountains somewhere in like a den that you've dug into the mountains with your friends. Well, friends, I don't know. What was I saying? There is no honour among thieves, I guess. At some point one of them might sell you out for a large sum of gold. You know, there's a lot of potential behind this game, and that is something I like. Now, I'm just going to quickly tell you the structure of what I planned for these videos. Now, I'll go through the pros of what I've seen and the cons of what I've seen. Now, I'll play the trailer at the very end so you can make your decisions based on that, but I always think that if you see the trailer first, you overhype the game, and then that's kind of a problem. It's better to hear about the game and then go watch it and make your own assumption based on what you've heard, because I don't know, people tend to get a little too hypey when they see trailers. Survive the Night, I'm not talking about that, of course, but this game definitely looks pretty cool. It's not something that has been done before, as far as I'm aware, a game of this sort of style. Actually, I know of one game that's attempted it. The name of it completely slips my mind, but I believe it was more focused around magic and things, and it did intend to do what this game is hoping to do as well, and it was on Kickstarter a while back. I don't know the name of it, someone in the comments might, but it was very similar. It wanted that persistent world which players could evolve, and it was going to have seasonal content. This, however, is going to have it so that, say there's like a guild that dominates the land for a very long time, and then somehow one day they're toppled, right? It's not going to wipe what once was their hold up in the mountains. It'll just slowly decay away and turn into ruins, or someone else will take over that land, you know? It's going to be a sort of persistent experience, as you can see on the screen. So what they're hoping to also do is have a very sort of strong guild presence, very strong sort of player grouping together sort of gameplay style. I don't think it's going to be a game for lone wolves, I'll be totally honest. There might be that sort of niche for people who can attempt it, but I'm not too sure. As you can see at the bottom, full-scale guild system with guild versus guild and siege systems. Now in the trailer you'll see a small example of this, of a guild who has built a base up in the mountains and they get attacked, I believe, by like trebuchets and such, and it's pretty cool to watch, to be honest. I mean, I was an avid player of Reign of Kings, and I can tell you that game was total shit. Now this game looks incredibly impressive, although I do know how grindy this game was in Life is Feudal Your Own, which is the previous game that they did, which this is based on, and they've carried all of the stuff over from it and just made it completely open to everybody, and they're basically running everything from their end with these thousands of players. But I can tell you that that sort of ability to have that happen is pretty intense, and sort of combined with the really in-depth skill system that you can find in the game. I'm sure if you go look up a video of it, someone will have covered it, but it's really a deep game, but it's a very slow-paced game. If you're after fast-paced, where you can sort of immediately jump into combat and go dick on someone, you've came to the wrong game. You will spend a ridiculous amount of time completely unequipped. Like, imagine you are some sort of complete random guy who's washed up on a shore somewhere. There is no way you are going to have fully fledged blacksmith metal armor in a small amount of time. You will be wearing the pelts of a wolf that you killed with a sharp rock out of pure luck, and you will then, I don't know, craft that into a very weirdly fashioned spear for a while, and then one day you're like, you know what, I'm going to try and smelt some metal. Then you make a very crude dagger of sorts, and then you try it again, and you're like, okay, I've improved a bit. Now I've got a short sword, and I've managed to fashion myself a really crude chestplate. It's going to be a very sort of expected sort of, I guess they're kind of trying to be realistic with it as far as I'm aware. I could be totally wrong. I haven't been able to play the game because I haven't bought like the starter pack or anything like that. I do intend to play it when it drops on Steam, so hopefully I can play it then, but until then I'm just going off what I can find online and similar things. Now, main pros I've seen is pretty much everything I've mentioned so far. It looks amazing, and the potential of it in an RP sense looks awesome. Now, I am a sucker for games that can pull off RP quite well. I like immersive games, I like immersive environments. If you can do that well and maintain it without having like more than a few players who are total dicks ruin it, then hats off, you've done pretty well with your game. Now, the cons I've seen, the main con I can think of is the game intends to have a premium subscription system. Now, this premium subscription system I will try and put up on the screen for you now if I can find a screenshot of it. Now, as you can see on the screen, this is what the premium subscription for this game will net you. So we're talking a random armor skin, which obviously is just vanity. Who actually cares, to be honest? A random weapon skin, so I'm assuming there will be like a sort of tiered skin system on top of the weapons that you can build, and then you can maybe skin them or something like that, or maybe go to like a forge and improve it and make it look like this skin that you've unlocked. I'm not too sure. Trading post storage size increased, so if you've played any MMO and you know the plight you may face at the end of the game, which is a full bank or a full storage, you can extend that by well, whatever size it specifies on the screen. I'm not too sure how much of a extra space this is, but I can assume if someone's paying for a premium subscription for it, it will be worth their time because it is monthly. It's not a one-time thing. Up to 150 cells of land for private claiming. Now, if I remember correctly, 150, if a cell is like a selectable square on the floor, that's not too large of a space. So you're talking roughly 12 square area, so you're talking 12 cells across and 12 cells down, or maybe 12 and then 13 if my numbers are correct. I'm not too sure, that should be roughly close, but it's if you see gameplay, it's, as far as I'm aware, not too large of an area, but it is an extra area for you to zone off and claim as your own. The power hour once a day, which is basically an XP booster for a certain amount of time, that sounds interesting, because I know from what I've seen that gaining skills is quite a slow process, and the ability to sort of power that up for an hour might be quite potent, but it's not going to be horrendously broken. But I dislike the fact that you can pay to have that XP advantage over other players. It doesn't sound too good, to be honest. I guess you kind of have to give reward for those who are paying extra for your game, but I'm not too much of a fan of it. It's not pay to win per se, but it is a definite paid advantage. Whether it'll be that significant, time will tell. But the next thing is death insurance. In the event of skill loss due to death, your skill loss will be lowered by 5 skill points. Now, if I'm not wrong, 5 skill points may not be a lot, but it's still a sort of upgrade. Now, people with premium are obviously going to lose a lot less from dying by the sounds of this, and that's not something I really like, because a premium player may be a bit more nonchalant about being sort of murdered for something trivial. I guess they may be more tempted to go out of their way and do maybe grief style activities because they might not lose as much in terms of their death insurance. Obviously I haven't played the game, so I can't really speak too much on how overpowered or underpowered this is, but a function like this needs to be balanced to the point where it's worth paying for, I guess, but not so much that it makes you sort of at a huge disadvantage by not buying this premium subscription, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, the last point I want to make, you can sort of take it in whichever way you choose, see it as a pro or a con. Now, this game has potential to have huge guilds and villages and such, but there will be certain guilds that will play this game purely to make people's lives living hell. Now, if there is not a balance of this between sort of good guilds and bad guilds, the game is going to become ruined by those who seek to do nothing more than murderize people. And in a game like this, where once you hit a certain point you are able to stomp on others who can't fight back because they lack the skills in game, I mean, like the ability to craft what you need to fight back, you're kind of going to slowly kill off your player base with the sort of, I'm not going to say toxic or anything like that, but if you go around on a game complaining that you have a lack of player versus player content, but you make people not want to do player versus player by murderizing them constantly, it's going to be an issue, and I hope the game doesn't have that. I hope that there's a strong sort of ability to keep things balanced between guilds who just want to be total pricks to people and guilds who will counter that, I guess is the best way to put it. Otherwise the game may descend into a PvP shitfest rather than what the devs are hoping for, I guess. And obviously it kind of would make sense if the game did go into that sort of bandit-filled wasteland and it would require one guild to rise up out of the ashes and fight back, but the likelihood of that happening with the nature of these games is incredibly slim, so I hope that's not a problem for this game. Like I say, I haven't been able to catch much gameplay of this because it's in a sort of closed alpha at the moment and not many people can play it other than those who sink reasonable amount of money into it. I think it's about $25 for the minimum package, and the largest package is around about $100. It might be a little less, but it's not exactly cheap, I can tell you that much. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this wildcard video. I'm bringing it to an end. If you'd like to hear more about this game and have me discuss the game a bit further, maybe answer some questions that you can drop in the comments and I'll come back with another video, then feel free to do that. Also, feel free to leave any comments about the audio setup and how you found it. I've kept the music out of this video purely for the fact that if you want to listen to music with my videos, I obviously am going to have some copyright issues with certain songs, so just throw on some music in the background if you want to. If you guys would prefer me to keep putting music on the videos, then let me know. But really, I just want solid feedback on how the audio has sounded for this video, what I can tweak, anything like that, because obviously this is my new microphone setup that I have been telling you guys about. Hopefully it has been much better than my previous videos. This is how my mic will sound from now on, maybe with a few tweaks and such that I can do. This is reasonably tweaked from how it originally sounded. I can't be bothered to show you guys how it did originally sound, but it wasn't the best, but this is probably as good as I can get it for now, so I hope it's okay. That said, I did say I was going to play the trailer for the game at the end of the video, so if you have made it through this far, this is the trailer for Life is Feudal, the MMO, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.